Hello and welcome to another tutorial, this time a short one about music and transitioning between music sections. And there are two things I want to point out and emphasize specifically. The first thing is transitioning between music sections seamlessly, so in a way that the transition will be on time to the next bar, but also take over the reverb tail or the delay tail of the previous section into the next one. So there will be no abrupt cut or anything, which is really important to me, especially when you work with music that is quite reverb heavy. And the second thing that's important to me here is having music sections where we can randomly pick between different variations each time the section is being played. Let's have a quick listen and especially pay attention to these lines here. They will indicate which section is currently played and when we enter the next one. Okay, let's first talk about how the setup works. So with the input, and then we go to the trigger any node. Explained this in another video in more detail, but basically this is a way of looping things where we have a variable that we defined here at the end of this whole structure, and we promote that by saying promote to graph variable, give it a name, and then we can call it as a second input here in the trigger any node. And this will tell the Metasound that at this point, when this thing is done, we can return to the trigger any node to the beginning of the whole structure. Then we move on to the first section where we have a wave player, which stores all the playback information and is connected to this random get node, which has an array which stores all the sound waves that we want to be possibly played back. So everything we drag in here can randomly picked whenever this structure is called. And the same structure we have here in section B and then in section C and then back to beginning. And the important thing is that we have multiple outputs here in the wave player, and to be able to have the reverb tail brought into the next section, we need to finish on cue point and not on finished or anything other than that. But to be able to finish on cue point, we need cue points, and this you need to set up in your DAW. In my case, that is Reaper. And as you can see, for all these sections here, I've added a marker at the end of each bar. And this will be the point when the transition to the next section will happen. But as you can see, I'm rendering out these whole regions, so also all the stuff after the marker. And this is always the reverb or the delay tail. So the transition starts here and we will hear the next section, but we also still will be able to hear all of this or this. And that's really nice. And this is what makes everything seamless. Aside from the markers, we also need to take special attention to the rendering settings here. And as you can see, the sample rate is 44,100 and not 48,000 as you might be doing. And this is quite important. For some reason, this whole cue point marker thing will only work with this sample rate. I tried it with 48,000 and it doesn't work. I don't even know anymore how I found out about this. And if anyone knows why this is the case, please let me know. I'd be interested. But yeah, I've been stuck with this at first, and this is a really crucial step to not overlook. And when we have done all of that, the output of each section goes into the stereo mixer and then into the final output, which in this case is a stereo output. And yeah, then we're already done. So thanks for watching, and as always, if you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments.